Hello and welcome. My name is Angie Holden and I'm the blogger behind the Country Chic Cottage. This video is all about how to use and my review of the WeCreat Rotary Pro. Now, I have used a rotary accessory with my WeCreat lasers. However, that was the older version of the rotary accessory, and there were some issues with that older version. They have released a new version that they're calling their Pro, and that version fixes a lot of the issues, or it's supposed to, of the older version, so we're going to put that to the test. Now, I don't want you to get worried if you have the older version and you've had trouble. Are you going to have to spend more money? They actually have an upgrade kit, so the amount you'll have to spend is minimal. You won't have to purchase the full rotary accessory again. You can get the upgrade kit to upgrade your version to the Pro. So I do like that they offered that upgrade option so that if you're struggling with the one that you have, and we'll take a look at the differences between the two in a minute. If you're struggling with the one you have, this video might be for you. If you've never used a rotary accessory with your WeCreat laser before, again, this video is for you. So what is a rotary accessory exactly? A rotary accessory is where you can put a tumbler of any type within your laser and it will rotate it in order to engrave all the way around like I've done on this little coffee mug tumbler. Now, why am I doing a small tumbler in this video? One of the problems with the old version was that you couldn't do close to the top edge, so you really couldn't do small tumblers like this. I have done a complete design, except for the handle area, on this little tumbler with my WeCreat laser, and it's close to that top edge. So if you've had trouble, if you've struggled, if you're like, I don't understand how this is supposed to work, this new Rotary Pro might be just what you're looking for. So first we're going to take a look at what comes with the Rotary Pro, and then we're going to take a look at the differences between the old rotary tool and the new one so you can see exactly what the differences are. And of course, we are going to engrave a tumbler with the new version so you can see just how it works. With the WeCreat Rotary Pro, you will get the rotary assembly itself. I am going to show you how this is different from the original WeCreat rotary accessory in just a minute. Then you'll get another piece to help balance like the bottom of the tumbler. And then a wide variety of different accessories to attach to this to do a wide variety of things. So you can do rings, you can do cylindrical objects, you can do objects that aren't tumblers like cylinders. Different things with all these accessories. And that does include screws to go along with it. And then you do get a tape measure as well as a level. This version is the original rotary accessory for WeCreat, and this is the new and improved WeCreat Rotary Pro. So this version was intended to go onto the outside of the tumbler. So you would adjust and your tumbler was made to go inside of here. Now that meant wherever this was gripping, you would not be able to engrave. So that could be an issue for like full wrap tumblers. There were a few other issues with this setup. This new and improved version, first you have this setup, which is meant to go inside of any tumblers. So you would add the accessory, in this case, to the inside of the tumbler and expand it out to hold it. That means that the full area is available for engraving. However, this version still comes with a lot of chuck assemblies. So if you have something that, say, isn't a tumbler, is just a solid cylinder, you can still grip from that outside edge if you need to. And we're also going to take a look inside of what I'm talking about the working area with this version and how much it's improved with this version here. I'm going to use the WeCreat Vista in this video and set the rotary tool up in it. You do want to remove the laser beds, and then you're going to move your laser all the way to the front. The rotary tool goes on the left-hand side over here. And on this left-hand side, you will see two screws, and you just want to remove those. Once you have those screws removed, you'll just place the rotary accessory in that area. Then just add the two screws back to those two holes. You will need to flip your laser head. So this is up and down for flat objects right now. And you can just loosen the screw heads on both sides, and then you just flip the laser where the laser is pointed towards the back of the machine, and that will allow you to engrave your tumblers. Then just tighten the screws back on both sides to complete it. Then finally, to complete the setup, the Rotary Pro will have a cord, and that does plug into the back of your machine. Now the setup portion is complete. Then you would start adding your tumbler. So like I said, this is intended to go inside of the tumbler, and you can just twist the piece on the back of the Rotary Pro. And when you twist this, it expands or contracts your arms here on the rotary. So whatever tumbler you're using, you would just expand it out inside of there until this is tight. For longer tumblers like this one, you may need to use the other piece under the end of the tumbler. The screw at the top will raise and lower the rollers, and that will help you to support the end of longer tumblers. You can use the level that came with the rotary accessory in order to get everything level as well. For shorter things like this small coffee cup that is metal and coated, you might not need the support on the end. And for anything with a handle like this, you are going to want to make sure that the handle is going to clear everything as it engraves. So then you can open up WeCreat Make It, pull down the drop down and choose laser cylindrical. Then your screen will look a little something like this. Then with your laser turned on and ready, you can click refresh and actually see the bed of your laser with the camera. Now what I wanted you to see is this non-working area and that very short coffee mug that is in my WeCreat Vista at the moment. With the previous rotary tool, I was not able to turn off this non-working area. With this new version, I can head to settings. Non-working area of rotary is currently on and I can turn that off. It does alert you that you need to be using the Rotary Pro with none of the step jaws installed, which we are. If those were on the outside of my project, then they could collide with the laser. But because I have the Pro and the holders are inside of my tumbler, I can go ahead and click confirm. Once I've done that, I can X this out. And now you can see I have a full working area for my project. Went ahead and imported my image, so I clicked import, found the image on my computer. Then I did click edit image and crop away any area around the image that is not needed. Then I resized the image to fit on my tumbler. And if you'll click anywhere outside of the image, you get the option to add in the diameter of the tumbler that you're using. When measuring for your perimeter measurement, you're going to want to go all the way around the outside edge. And if that does include a handle, you want to go under that handle. My perimeter is 11 inches, so I can put that in, and that means that that diameter is 3.5 inches. Once you've added that perimeter measurement, it does give you that diameter measurement, and you can double check that by just measuring the top all the way across and seeing if the diameter is correct. You will also see a green line running down the center of your screen, and that is the center line of your design. So if I move my design around, once that center line turns orange, that design is centered, and then I can move it up and over my tumbler. And with that image picked, we can go ahead and pick the material that we want to use. I'm going to use stainless steel tumbler blue because this is kind of an aqua blue. And you can see that it has some suggested settings. We can go ahead and click confirm. Click the image again and you can see those settings in the corner. So at a power of 33 and a speed of 10, we're gonna get a look like this square here. If you wanted to change that, you wanted the look of a different square within this preview, you could change the power and the speed settings at this time. Click away from your image and you can also click 3D preview to get an idea of what the design will look like. Now, this is not going to have the handle that my actual coffee cup has, but I can get a rough idea by dragging this around what it looks like. And if I drag this around, you can see I left an area here, and I did that because I do have a handle. So this won't completely be a full wrap design, but I can kind of get an idea of how much area I'll have left and whether I want to resize this design at all before I engrave it. So I went ahead and went a little larger and clicked 3D preview, and I like the look of this. So we can go ahead and click start. It is going to give you some warnings about laser head collision, but we are going to check everything before we actually start the laser up. So I'm going to click continue processing. Once I get this screen, I can click framing and I can double check how things are going to work inside of the laser. Once I click framing, everything is going to rotate and the laser head is going to go around. And you might notice something different in this image given that you see my table instead of the bottom of the laser. I actually had to remove the bottom piece of the laser in order to get that handle to rotate around. The WeCreat Vista also comes with risers, and you can add those as well for larger tumblers if, say, your handle or something is hitting the bottom of the laser or even the table at this point. I can continue to hit framing and watch the framing process to get the engraving exactly where I want it on this tumbler. Once I'm happy with the framing, I can go ahead and shut the lid, ventilate this out a window, and click send within WeCreat Make It. You'll notice within those screenshots, the processing time was over 3 hours. I wanted to make this processing time a little bit quicker just to make the video quicker to produce. So I went ahead and clicked the image and clicked sketch. That sketched around the outside of all my leaves. And then I'm going to do a line engrave instead of a fill engrave. The fill engrave would fill in the entire leaf, where the line engrave is just going to engrave around the lines. Then over here in the layers panel, we have the outline as well as the image. We can go ahead and delete that image, and now we're left with just the path around the outside. Now if you go ahead and click start, you can see that now it's a 13-minute processing time, which is a bit better. If I was to do this line version and do fill engrave at this point and click start, we would be back to that over 3 hours. So it makes a huge difference whether you do a fill engrave or a line engrave, and you can definitely import any file and just engrave the line. Then once the processing is complete, you can open this up, remove the tumbler from that Rotary Pro, and your tumbler is complete. And I did a full wrap on the small coffee cup. Now you may need to clean this up some. You can see very dirty here. So I would take it to the sink, really scrub it off, get all that dust and debris off. But you can see that the Rotary Pro does a great job on full wraps, even on small tumblers like this one. Here's a look at the finished coffee mug tumbler and how great the engraving looks. So as you can see with the new Rotary accessory, you can do full wraps and you can do very small tumblers close to this top edge. So I do think this is superior to the old version. If you've been having trouble with the old version, doing small tumblers, getting your designs close to the top, this might be something you want to look at. Okay, so my tumbler turned out great. Now, I did modify the design to just do the outline because it would have taken so long to engrave those full leaves. However, it would have worked the same for the full leaves. If you just want the full leaf design and not the outline, you can definitely do that. And I do have the leaf wrap for free, and I will link to that in the description below this video. If you want to make your own little coffee mug tumbler with some Monstera leaves, that file is available for you. Now, I really like the Rotary Pro, and I feel like it fixes a ton of the issues that I had with the original Rotary accessory, which is nice. I also love that they offered the option of the upgrade kit, so you don't have to purchase a whole new accessory in order to get the benefits of this one. If you have the old one, just get the upgrade kit and all of a sudden you have all of these new benefits, and it fixes a ton of the problems that I found with the original version. So now, if you have any questions about how to use the WeCreat Rotary Pro, just drop down in the comment section, ask away. If you liked this video and it helped you, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, head over to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. I have videos just like this one every single week, and trust me, you don't want to miss any of those. So thank you all so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.